I am, once again, making a motherfucking Weevil. If I could, I would make just an entire Weevil series, but that'd take up the entire year. So, for now, I'm wrapping up the tinfoil base per usual, snipping off the excess, patching up the pokey-throughs. From there, I jump right into making the form. You could argue that the Acorn Weevil does look a teensy bit like an acorn because it has a pointed back end and a rounded abdomen. I shall neither agree nor disagree. I have to do something different for the face, so I'm rolling up a piece of paper to make my mark as evenly circular as possible and scraping the inner edges so that it looks sunken in. I don't even have to say what that looks like. Now, I'm making my indentation so that there is a firm separation between thorax and abdomen, keeping my handy reference photos nearby and doing my best to actually reference them. The head is very simple. This guy's face is all eyes and nose. The eyes might look like one is bigger than the other, and that's because one is indeed bigger than the other, but I somehow managed to get my affairs in order because they end up looking symmetrical somehow. The eyes may look way too big, but I wasn't tweaking when I made this. I mean, look at this. See? Precious as fuck. Now, onto the main event. The reason we're all here. The nose. The schnoz. That's a honker if I've ever seen one. You can see that thing from the back. It's giving seventh leg for real. But anywho. The process is simple enough, as you can see. I just put a wire to fortify the shape and mold a piece of clay around it. Voila! Okay, so now we'll get to see one of the reasons why this gal is called an Acorn Weevil. I'm throwing on some stripes. Overall, this bug is going to get very textured, but first I'm going to make these parallel line indentations. I'm going to wield my texture tool to give her a little bit of peach fuzz. The fuzz on this sweet lady's thorax is perpendicular in flow to the fuzz on its abdomen, which is fine by me because I love variety. Her face is also supposed to have fuzz, but I was afraid of fucking up the eyes and or snout, so I kept it very minimal on the face. And just before I put her into bake, I'm going to throw on these things too. You know what I love about Weevils? Their legs are always freakishly disproportionate. They're not really that disproportionate, but they kind of are. Only at certain angles though. They're pushing it. If they were any bigger, it'd be way more unnerving. So it's a good thing they look adorable when they walk, despite it all. I do what I need to do, poking holes for the wire, bending it, trimming it, positioning it, the whole spiel. I even trimmed the snout's feelers just to keep everything even keel. Now she's gonna get bulked up. Gotta make those famous Weevil thighs. Remember when I first started and my bugs had opposable legs? That loud is quiet now. Here's another penis reference for you that I did not do on purpose. Gotta plug that hole somehow. You're gonna watch me bake this Weevil a total of 4 times because I think it's way easier this way so as to not fuck up any of these details I'm putting in. I obsess over the schnoz a bit before I give her some leg hair, just so that she's built like a human girl during winter. Out of the oven and it's fine. I can just cover that with more clay. I touch up the little cracks, then I move on to working on the calves. Watching this now, I can't help but think about how far I've come with making legs. I could not get them this thin for the life of me, as evidenced by my chunky ass scorpion legs, and if I really wanted to, I'm pretty sure I could have made this Weevil's legs even thinner. So yeah, that's pretty cool. For my last bake, I'm going to throw on the feet. I think this is simple enough where I probably didn't have to bake it that last time, but I just don't want to accidentally squish and flatten the texture on the calves and not even realize it. Because once she's baked, it's more tedious to fix shit like that, which is why, once again, I prefer to bake it multiple times in multiple phases. As you can see, the feet are stupid simple. I even gave her some quote-unquote soles on her feet just because it felt right. Then, she baked. Just kidding.
I forgot to texture the feet, so I did that. Then she baked. Finally! We've reached the painting stage, so I can just yap incessantly about Acorn Weevil facts. But first, let me explain this one part. So I cooked up this brown base, but I thought it looks too much like throw up poopy dookie dog water. So I watered down some red to get it closer to what I was envisioning. And from there, added some not diluted red for the seams and the joints for differentiation / contrast purposes. After that, I dry brushed on the mustard color and got to work adding many layers of texture. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Sydney, why the fuck do they have a rostrum? Well, they use that to drill things. It's actually incredibly tough and built like an extremely small staircase at the end on a microscopic level or something like that. Hence why I said drill. And why, oh why, is it called an acorn weevil? It really does look a bit like an acorn, but this lady actually gets her namesake because she is laden and born from acorns. The larvae eat their way out of the acorn when the time is right, and the adults also feed on the acorn and other nuts, but don't quote me on that. So if you haven't figured it out already, these guys are very small. In case you didn't quite catch that, I toss on 3 different brush colors to add a sense of depth to the paint job, and I think it meshes nicely with the texture of the clay. I also added a subtle gradient on the nose, because in real life they have a more brown heavy and less brightly colored color palette, but I'm going off of one specific reference photo that I really like, so sue me. With that, all that's left is the eyes and the glaze, and then we're done. Thank you so much for my warm reception that I got on my last video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this Weevil. I personally love Weevils, as you know, and I hope you love it too. So please let me know what you think I should name her in the comments. And if you made it this far, pretty please subscribe and like this video so that more YouTube watchers can see it. And if you're really feeling frisky, then leave me a suggestion in the comments for what bug I should do next. Thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you for the next one. Bye! Out of the oven. Out of the oven. Ah! It's fine. Damn.